Hey, I'm JM and I'm your host,
And I'm your co host, Sam, and together we're here to bring you the
the
Solo
Solo
Success
Success
Podcast.
Podcast. So, the reason why we're bringing this to you today is that the hair and beauty industry is moving fast towards a world of freelancers. Over 70% of people working in the space are freelance, and actually 48% of salons are looking to close within the next couple of years. So, there's a big opportunity for those who want to go solo. But what we found is that there wasn't any good resource out there to help you on your journey.
So, on each episode, we'll be speaking to different industry experts and insiders, those that have been on interesting journeys and that have stories to tell. And they're going to be sharing their tips and advice on how you can elevate your solo beauty career.
I'm super excited. That's so awesome. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome, Ryan. Super excited to have you with us today. You're a salon mentor, a marketing expert, the co-founder of Salonology, and also like a successful book writer. I think you own like a successful day spa and salon in Bournemouth for like more than 10 years. And now you helped over 5,000 salon owners through your books, your courses, your Go Club coaching program, which I'm sure we're going to touch on later today. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Maybe to get started, like this is like a very, very impressive kind of CV of the things that you've done. Do you want to tell us a bit more about like how you started, how you start building your day spa from scratch to like a 9 treatment rooms kind of setup?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, with my Salonology co-founder Holly, who is really responsible for getting that business well and truly up and off the ground, and it started just as a small salon in well, actually in the basement of a hotel. So it was really kind of
Oh
humble
wow.
beginnings. And for the first few years, our journey was probably much the same as most small business owners. It was a lot of trying stuff that didn't work and then trying other stuff that also didn't work, and then trying more stuff that didn't work, and then eventually we tried some stuff that did work, and we really grew from there, and everything really exploded with the salon, and it ended up 9 treatment rooms, 2 lounges, a dozen or so staff. But also, it was a business that gave us real freedom as well because we weren't stuck in there in the day to day doing long hours every day. So, and I think one of the real contributing factors to that was as a result, really, of doing our marketing, which is what I'm passionate about, and what we now teach to other salon owners as well. Because I don't think any many small business owners lack passion, and they don't lack, it's not like they're scared of hard work, especially in our industry, right? Everyone is more than happy to put the hours in. They don't expect anything for nothing. But there is, I believe, a knowledge gap whereby people come out of college and they don't know anything about actually growing or running the business, right? You're just put in at the deep end, and you've just got to try and find your feet and try and do what you can with what you know. And for some reason, so many in our industry, I think, also never really sort of went into it thinking they would even necessarily own their own business. But an opportunity came up, or they end up taking over from someone else, or it just somehow presents itself, and then there's this big sort of knowledge gap. I can't teach anyone anything about how to do a better facial, right? You don't want me helping you with that. But what we do now help people with is, getting clients in. So I have an expression which is, cash comes from clients and clients come from your marketing. So this is why I'm passionate about the marketing and about really helping to empower others with that, because that was really the thing that was the main difference for our salon and day spa, was that we were doing stuff marketing wise that simply none of our competitors were. And again, it's one of those ones whereby it's a real frustrating experience if you're a business owner and there's another business up the road, and you know that you're better than them, right? You know you deliver better treatments, you've got nicer decor, better trained staff, they serve naff cheap coffee, right? And yet they've got a queue out the door, and you're scratching around for appointments, and the difference is that they've worked out how to attract clients into their business and you haven't. And it really is as fundamental a skill as that, in my belief, which is why I'm so passionate about teaching it.
Yeah.
You touched on at the beginning there, just things that you did, loads of things that just didn't work. I'd love to know what did work, but I'd love to know too, what were the challenges? What were the things that you found
Yeah,
difficult?
well, I think it's one of those where a lot of people go into it with the idea of, build it and they will come, and that obviously just is not true. And I think that when we were starting, that was very much at the infancy of social media. So Instagram was a thing, but we weren't really doing it. We had like 100 followers or something. We were pretty active on Facebook at the time, but that was about it. And that was really all we were really doing at the start, because that was kind of what we thought you did, and I think a lot of business owners still believe that now. I think they confuse, the equation of marketing equals social media. And the reality is that social media is just one of many, many, many different things that you could do, and so we were definitely doing that, and definitely doing that terribly, a bit like, like a lot of people were, and we were trialing that. And also as well, I think that one of the things where it started to go much better for us, shall we say, was when we really started to think about the different levers, if you like, that we could pull to try and actually grow the business. Now, what I mean by that is, we were trapped to begin with just thinking we needed more people. And we think we need more clients, we need more clients, we need more clients. But actually, what we later realized was that if we had the same number of clients, but we did a better job of getting them to come back a bit more often and get them to spend a bit more money when they were with us, then actually that was a much better way and a much more cost-effective way to start growing our business. And a real trigger point for us was a story that went really wrong. You mentioned, Sam, about what we did that went wrong. We had a huge disaster, and at the time, it was popular to use, I won't name check them, but there is a discount website, shall we say, where you can list your treatments on there, and they sell them for you for peanuts. And back in the day, it's a little bit different now, but at the time when we did it, they used to only put a special offer from you on for 24 hours. And they used to send out an email to their database of like hundreds of thousands of people. And they would sell these packages that you put together. And we just got this phone call one day out of the blue. And they were like, oh, look, we really think you should put together this package for us. And they were pretty A, persuasive, B, pretty aggressive salespeople. And they really kind of hoodwink you almost into putting together these unprofitable packages on the idea that, you'll be able to turn these people into long-term clients and they'll keep coming back, all this sort of thing, Anyway, it turned out that every single one of these that we sold, we would be losing money on. And we didn't think necessarily, how many are you going to sell in 24 hours? We thought probably not that many. Anyway, we sold 810 of these packages, right? Every single one lost us money.
Oh.
So straight away, we were in this position whereby the diaries were packed of unprofitable business. Turns out a lot of these people, not the best people to deal with, right? They all want something for nothing. They weren't very respectful of our facilities or of our staff. They definitely didn't come back, which actually we were pleased by, and for a large part. Actually, they were loyal to the discount website, and they just follow wherever the cheap deal is getting offered, kind of thing. And that was a real turning point and a real lesson for us, because we were at one point, we're like, this might sink us, because it's not like we can even fill our diaries with profitable business, because we're chock-a-block for like months, Anyway, out of it, something amazing happened. And it's funny how life does that sometimes, right? It's like, oh, out of a complete nightmare situation, something really good happens. And Holly said, she was thinking, man, she's like, well, maybe they were onto something in terms of not the discounts, but putting together something unique because they made us, it wasn't just like a facial, it had to be a facial with a something and a something to make like a kind of unique package, basically, if you like. And she was like, well, maybe we could put that together but not discount it. And what one of the reasons why it sold so many is because people only had 24 hours to buy, right? So it was like massive FOMO because it's like you buy it now or it's gone. So we thought maybe we could do that ourselves and like cut out the middleman. So we did, and it's something that we now teach. We now call it a limited edition unique experience, or a Louis. And basically, what we started doing was every month we would put together off menu experiences that were only available for 1 month. And it worked unbelievably well. And we ended up doing it every single month from that point until we eventually sold the business sort of 8 or 9 years later. And that was a massive, massive turning point for us because we could see in the back end of our salon software that our clients were only coming to us like I think it was about every 13 weeks on average. And we wanted to get that right down. And as a result of doing the Louis system, we managed to get that right down to something like 7 or 8 weeks on average, which is actually makes a huge difference to your numbers when you compound that over the year, you know? And it keeps it interesting for our team, it keeps it interesting for our clients. And this whole concept, yeah, putting something out there for people, and just by saying to someone, if you don't have it now, you can never have it, is a real, a real strong driver for people. So for us, that was definitely a real turning point. And then what we would do is we would heavily market that rather than the salon as a whole, which again is one of the things that we were doing before, which again a lot of people do, is kind of like we were marketing the business rather than marketing specific treatments or specific services or experiences, as we liked to call them. So yeah, again, and a lot of this, yeah, it was funny in hindsight. It wasn't very funny at the time, but looking back, it was funny how sometimes you can have a situation that looks like it's going to be a complete disaster, and actually something amazing can come out of it.
That's really super inspiring. I love this story. I think like especially with the discount website, I think a lot of people can relate, especially if you were alive at that time. Like you know
Yeah.
that there was like such a buzz and everybody needed to be on it. But then the learning was that those customers would just not good. How did you get away from? Because you said it sold like 810. I mean, if they were unprofitable, that must have been like such a drag on your numbers. How do
Oh,
you
it
survive
was.
just this?
Yeah, well, we almost didn't. So it was really
Wow.
one of those, are we going to be able to pay our mortgage this month kind of situations. And I think sometimes when you are put in a position that really tests you like that, then it really tests your resolve. And I think that it also comes down to one of those ones whereby you don't realize how much you can withstand or how tough you are, or until you're actually put in that kind of situation, because it was like, well, we just had to find a way. We had no other option, because that was the business, and we had to try and try and sell our way out of it, out of the other end, which mercifully we managed. And one of the other things that we also did, which was key for us, was we did a couple of things actually. One of the things that really made a difference for us was that we offered much higher ticket solutions for people. Again, looking around, everyone at that time were doing what we would call, the standardized beauty treatments. So everyone was doing nails, waxing. At that point, tanning, spray tans, right? They're not quite as popular now, but they certainly were at the time, right? So, and everyone was doing that, and it was difficult to make yourself stand out as a business. So we started investing so that we could offer more high end solutions. So one of the solutions that we started offering HIFU treatments, and we were charging like £1,000 for those treatments. So that was like super profitable, and it was like, oh, well, you could do 50 sets of nails, or one treatment that takes an hour and a quarter, and you're like, oh, actually, that's, one is quite, it's worth focusing on, and hardly anyone was offering it. So actually, it was easier to sell. And when you've got something which solves a big problem for someone who's in a real pain, not necessarily physical pain, but emotional pain, then actually they will pay a lot of money for that. And we had people who really wanted non-surgical facelifts and would pay an awful lot of money for it, And again, this was kind of before the real boom that we've since had in the aesthetics world, really, I would say.
Mm.
There were far fewer practitioners at that point. So it meant, again, that there were people that were prepared to invest in themselves for that. So that was it. That was a huge boom point for us, as well, being able to offer the higher, what I now call a profit maximizer treatment.
Mm.
And again, I think that a lot of that comes down to understanding the numbers in your business, which again is, I think, an area where, as an industry, we could probably do a little bit better, I think, because I think that people don't get taught what a lot of those numbers mean, and a lot of people don't really understand sometimes all of the differences between what they are, and some even confuse revenue for profit. And it's like, well, as long as I'm busy, then I'm going to be making some money, and of course, it doesn't always work like that.
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree with that. The cost is so important in terms of like that revenue you deliver, you are able to book. So, I mean, just to summarize it, you do like packages that are attractive. You change them every month. You have a
Yeah,
profit maximizer,
yeah.
rinse and repeat, and that's it.
You make it sound so simple, Jeff. I mean, yeah, I mean, there are obviously a few additional nuances, in
Tell
that,
me.
for sure. But yeah, absolutely. And it is a lot of that. I mean, some of it is, a lot of it isn't necessarily that difficult or complicated, but one of the huge keys, I believe, to being successful in that space, or any business space, is being consistent. Being really consistent with. I mean, we would be ruthlessly consistent with reaching out to our clients. We would be emailing them 2 or 3 times every single week without fail. We would be posting, as I say, to social media, which at that time, you post on social media and everyone used to see it. It was great. Not quite the same anymore now, but back then it was, which was great. And even getting on the phone to people, which to some people just, is like, you say, suggest that, and they look at you like you're mad. I know there's a bit of a lost art picking up a telephone, but we would phone people, and if we've got a good top client, which again, pull the info off your salon software, have a look at who your top 100 spending clients are. If you haven't seen them in 3 months, get on the phone to them, find out
Mm.
why, because the thing is, a lot of people, they're just busy. They're just busy.
Mm.
They've got stuff going on in their life. And actually, if you phone someone up and say, oh, we haven't seen you for a few months, everything all right? They actually are delighted that you've checked in with them. So sometimes it's just doing that simple stuff, and doing it, as I say, consistently over and over, and keeping your name in front of your clients, and making sure that when they are thinking about the services you offer, it's you and no one else, that they think of. I also think if you can have some form of differentiator as a business, I think that is also really advantageous, especially these days. You got to stand for something. It doesn't necessarily matter what, but stand for something. Have some sort of key differential. One of the things that we had in the spa was, we had 2 lounges, and at the time no one else in our locality had a lounge. And what it meant that we could attract in groups of people, so we started targeting hen parties, because Bournemouth has got lots of hen parties,
Mm.
right? It's got lots of stag parties as well, but we didn't want that, really. Hens we did want, because hens are great, because they want to come and they want to spend money and have a good time, and they're all in a great mood, and it meant that you could give them free run of the place, have like exclusive hire, and actually having a large group who all know each other is actually much easier to manage in a diary wise than a group of strangers for the day, you know.
Mm.
And they get something truly unique. And it meant that if they were a Hindu, they could have their own music. And some of them used to bring other stuff, like we'd have butlers in the buffet and all sorts of, they could do what they wanted, kind of thing. And who wouldn't want the free run of a spa for the day? I mean,
Mm.
it's pretty cool, right? And you can charge much more for that. And the way I looked at it, looking back, is that we kind of became a bit of a category of one, because if you were a group of 20 hens that wanted to do a spa day, it was come to us or don't go anywhere, because just no one else had that, you know.
Mm.
And when you're in that situation, you can charge what you like, you know, because people don't have a choice. It's come to you or go nowhere. So yeah, I think having some form of differential is a worthwhile idea, especially, you know, with our industry. The barriers to entry are pretty low, you know, and I think most people have had the experience of another competitor just sort of seemingly spring up overnight, you know, just down the road. And there's lots of copycat businesses. So having something that's difficult for other people to copy is a pretty smart strategy, I think. And at the most basic level, I think one way that people can do that, even with a tiny team or no team, is just be more them. You know, put if you're happy to put yourself up front. You know, it's difficult to copy an individual. We're all unique, and putting yourself up and center and doing that. You know, people by people. Ultimately, I believe. So I think that if you can have a bit of personality injected into your business, then my belief is that that goes, you know, a long way.
Does your booking system still suck? Then you should look into Jenna.
Hey, I'm Jen, and I'm the founder of Jenna. We created Jenna specifically for solo business owners. We know how hard it is to build your own business, and without the right tools, it's even harder. Booking systems suck because they're designed for big salons. They're complicated, they have expensive monthly fees, and loads of hidden fees. And that's why we built Jenna.
With Jenna, you can look professional with a professionally designed website where you need no tech skills.
Jenna also helps you get your evenings back, because on average, beauty pros spend 45 minutes going back and forth with their clients. With Jenna, you can set your boundaries. Our system takes bookings, sets reminders, and handles payments automatically.
And with Jenna, we know how important it is for you to build your own brand with your own website, which is fully customizable. You don't sit next to your competitors on a marketplace, and we make sure that you stand out to your clients.
And the best is that it's only £19 per month. That's it.
No way!
With Jenna, there are no new client fees, no hidden fees, and no unexpected big bills at the end of the month.
This sounds too good to be true, but it's not. So check it out on jenna.so or look for @jenna.ai_ on Instagram.
Yes, check out Jenna on the App Store as well.
100%. I love that. You touched on it a little bit in what you just last said there, but I think so many people think marketing, social media, and that's like the way that they need to build their business. You're a little bit against that, and I'd love to hear a little more why.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's not that I'm not anti social media, but what I take my gripe. Let me just get my soapbox out a minute, and I'll climb up on top of it. Like, my gripe with it, Sam, is that not only do I think that a lot of people don't explore other avenues, but I think they get a little bit lazy with it because they think that it's the be all and end all. I also think that social media has completely spoiled people, because up until fairly recently, it's been a matter of, well, all you got to do is get people to follow you and everyone sees everything you post.
Yeah.
And it was obvious in my mind that that wasn't going to last forever, and now it's rapidly becoming pay to play, you know, and if you want people to see stuff, you're going to have to pay for it. And we used to do paid ads even when we still had the day spa and the salon back then, because I'd rather get in front of people even more if I could, you know. I think that people need to see your name and what you do lots of times, especially if you're trying to get people to come to you for the first time or come away from a different salon that they already like, if you're trying to literally bring new people in. But furthermore, I also think one of the big problems with social media is that it's fiercely competitive. And if you just go, for example, on Instagram and type into it in the search bar, whatever it is, people listening, whatever it is you do in your area, you will find dozens of people that do the same thing. And on the face of it, every single one of those accounts looks more or less the same, and therefore that makes it a highly competitive space. So unless you are amazing at creating content, or you are really unique, or you've got really deep advertising pockets, then it's quite difficult now, I believe, to really stand out. And there's other places you can go where there is little to no competition. So I don't say don't do social media, but I would say don't only do that. Do other stuff as well. So case in point, again, one of the things that we like to do, and again, one of the things that I encourage people to do, is with our Louis, I like to also stick leaflets through people's doors with whatever it is that month on there. Because if you think, and again, I don't know what it's like for where you are in the country, but certainly where I am, I get at least one, often two, Domino's Pizzas flyers through my door every single week without fail. Okay. And I looked it up, and they spend close to £300 million a year putting leaflets through people's doors. Okay. Which is a crazy amount. But in the 12 years I've lived in my home, there are at least 24 salons within a mile of where I live. Never once has any of them put anything through my door. And they would have a captive audience, because at very worst, I would look at it on my way to the recycling bin, right? And that's the worst case scenario. And in the best case scenario, I would read it and maybe, put it on the pinboard, or put it in that drawer that everyone has next to the front door, and maybe refer back to it. And the first one I might not do anything with. But if they kept sticking them through my door every month, maybe after 3 or 4 months, you then start to get to recognize them a little bit. And then when you see them on social media, somewhere in your deep subconscious, it's going, oh yeah, you recognize that company, even if you've never been a client of theirs, So I think that, as I say, my real beef with social media, as I say, is that I just feel it makes people a little bit lazy from a marketing perspective. And I think that if used in conjunction with other things, then it can be even more powerful, And some of those sort of old school, if you like, ways of getting in front of people can still work really well. I mean, there was a time before social media existed that lots of people still had very successful businesses, that time did exist. And even other ways. So, for example, collaborating with other businesses, I think, is also a really super smart strategy that is pretty much free to do, which again, hardly anyone does. And one of the things that I encourage our clients to think about is that someone somewhere has got a relationship with every dream client you could ever want. Someone already has that relationship. So if you can somehow broker some sort of agreement with them to get introduced to all of their people, then that could really help. Like if I had a vegan salon, for example, I would make sure that every vegan cafe owner in my town was in my phone book, and that I was great friends with them, because who goes into their cafe? Vegans. And therefore they could be a client to my vegan salon, It's like, it's not rocket science, but it does require a little bit of thinking outside the box sometimes. And you can guarantee that if you're listening to this thinking, oh, maybe I could do that, I guarantee your competition aren't doing it. They definitely will not be doing it. But what they will be doing is posting little cringy lip sync reels on Instagram all day, which will not get you noticed unless you're really good at them, because everyone's doing that. And then you're just another salon. And that's the thing you don't want to be, another salon, because you will just get forgotten. And that's a difficult place to come back from sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's completely fair enough. I think that's really, really interesting what you're saying. I completely subscribe to that. Like, kind of try to find your way out in the world that
Yeah,
really suits you. Like, I remember speaking to one of our customer, and she was great because she found a way to get to like her audience with like a collaboration. Exactly what you were saying. So she found someone, reached out to her, and said, "Hey, do you want to do this for free? And we'll post it on our stuff." And initially, she was like, "Oh, I don't know how that's gonna work," and that's got her fully booked. And the other thing she did really well is that she has a very distinctive brand, very distinctive presence. So when you go on her page or you go on her website, you notice it. You know exactly that it's her. So when she
yeah,
posts and it goes to your feed, you're like, "Oh, that's that person." It's not like just a random post of nails like it always is. So I think
right,
like those kind of little things, and so I agree really with what you're saying. It really
100%.
resonates with me.
Yeah,
Um,
even like where it comes down to like the name of your business, there's so
mhm,
many that have got such similar names, or being a color scheme that isn't baby pink.
mhm,
It's like how many pinks, or black and white? It's like how many of those do you see now? They're just
yes,
everywhere.
yes.
So as a result of that, it's you're just making life harder for yourself. So if you do something that is just completely different to what everyone else is doing, by definition, you're going to stand out. Now, not
Mm,
everyone's going to like that, but that doesn't matter. You're better off, polarizing people than being stuck in the middle. And I think a lot of
mhm,
people are worried about that, and they
Mm.
try and attract the masses. And by doing that, no one resonates with you.
mhm,
Whereas you're better off going, I'm going to stick my flag in the sand here, and these are my people. These are, and if you're one of these people, you're going to love it here. And by doing that, you can generate people who are kind of like, super fans or almost like ambassadors for your business,
mhm.
versus people that are just kind of like, meh. You know,
Meh. Yeah, this is just one of the other ones.
you got it
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. So that's how you turn your customers to raving fans, is by being yourself and bringing something different to the market.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and I mean, and that of course goes on top of the obvious things of delivering exceptional services and having staff that are really well trained and all those sorts of things, which are kind of a given. I would hope for most people, but I definitely think that yeah, if you can be different in some way, either you as the individual or in your branding or in your messaging or who it is you're trying to attract or what it is you deliver, if you can make one or more of those things a bit different to everyone else, then I think you're giving yourself a much, much better chance of success than if you are just an other salon.
100%. What was there a particular campaign that you did yourself that you kind of felt was really successful and you would like to do it 10 times over?
So one of the okay, so this is secret sauce time. So one of the things that we did used to do, which again plays into a part of that marketing system that we eventually built, which wasn't built in one day, by the way. It was very much, it grew over the years. But by the end, as I say, we had very much were rinsing, repeating every month. So one of the things that we used to do was we realized that email was a really, really good way for us to get clients to book with us. And we did that also differently to how we saw everyone else doing it. So we saw everyone else was delivering like email newsletter, the sort of colorful, type of email that you get that's got the pictures all over it and all that sort of thing. And we did something that was basically the opposite. So again, going back to the, be different. Other emails that we sent were very much written from one person to one person in plain text with no pictures, no colors, in the same way that if you were to go out for a glass of wine on a Friday night with one of your friends, you hit compose, you'd type it, and then hit send. You wouldn't format it and stick a picture in there and change the font. You wouldn't do any of that. So we thought, well, maybe people prefer receiving that type of email. So that's how we sent them. And we rapidly realized that people, well, to start with, they used to reply, which was like, oh my God, people replying to them. Wow, they never did that for our newsletter. You wouldn't reply to a boohoo newsletter that comes into your inbox, right? So again, we were like, right, well, I think we might be onto something here. So eventually, it then became, how can we just get as many people on our email list as possible? Because then it becomes a numbers game, you know? And the more we realized, the more we were sending, the more bookings we were getting. And so as I say, it really then became a race to get as many email addresses as we could. And I like to say, you know, if you throw enough balls at enough coconuts, then eventually you're going to win a prize, right? So it becomes a numbers game. So what we did was we did a competition. So we started running a competition on our website. So I see a lot of people run competitions, but I see them do it in what I would consider to be the wrong way, which is saying, "Oh, like and share this," and that's nonsense, right? It doesn't help you at all. Getting a load of people follow you from the other end of the country who are just trying to win something it kills your page. In fact, it's terrible for you. So we get people to go to our website, and they would have to give us their email address, and they could win a spa day for 2 people. Okay, and we would run that as a competition. We ran it every single month for over 5 years. And same prize every single month. Okay, you only had to enter once, and we would put you in the draw, real prize, real winners every month. And the reason we did that was, firstly, because we thought, well, you're not going to enter a prize draw to win a spa day in Bournemouth unless you live somewhere close-ish, right? You're not going to travel 500 miles for a spa day. So we thought that might make someone a reasonable fit in the first place. And then we did it for 2 people because we wanted the winners to bring a friend, because then that doubles the amount of people who might then come back again. They would just win a basic spa day, and of course we would then try and upsell them other services when they came along, and they typically did want the luxury versions of stuff, so that was great. 2 people typically then take photos of themselves and post it and tag people and all that sort of good stuff. So we were like, great, this is going pretty well. And then what we would do is we would just advertise the competition. Okay, and at that point we were finding that we could run ads and get people to enter the competition for very little money, like under £1, because it's a low bar. You know, if you see even a company you've not heard of before and it's like, do you want to win this? You're like, oh, okay, yeah. Versus, oh, do you want to change who you currently use and come to our salon? That's actually quite a tough sell. You know, they've got to see you a lot of times before they might make that jump. Enter a competition, really low bar. And we realized that if we then did a good job of emailing them regularly and just kept putting our monthly Louis, our limited edition unique experience, in front of them every single month, eventually they'd like one of them, a lot of these people, and come and give us a try, you know? And then it's on you to try and do a good job of giving them a wonderful experience. And to go back to actually answer your original question, Sam, one of the things that we would do is on the 1st of every month, we would send an email out. And the title of the email would be, and the winner is ... Now, if you've entered a competition to win a spa day, you're going to open the email, aren't you? You're going to open it. And the open rates we got on it were insane. And then what we would do is we did say who the winner was, but that was at the bottom of the email. And before they got there, they would have to read all about this month's limited edition unique experience. And they would read that and think, well, that sounds good. Have I won? No, I haven't. But then there's a booking link for, if you haven't won, never mind. Maybe you would like to come and do this month's experience. And the best that we ever did was 1 month off that one email. We sold 144 packages from the back of just sending one email.
Wow. How big was your mailing list?
So by the end, just pre-GDPR, we grew the email list to just under 9,000 people. Wow. And then GDPR slashed it to about 6 when you had to get everyone to resubscribe again. But even then, having a database of 6,000 people who were all relatively local, who were all interested in salons or spas, that's actually, and it's cost nothing or as good as nothing to communicate with them. That was really
that's powerful. Huge.
Oh, it really was. Even in terms of, if we'd have like a group booking cancel or anything, then one email out saying we've got this last minute availability, it would always get snapped up, obviously. And then we segmented it and had like a VIP last minute list and that sort of thing. And then also you can then upload that to social media and then target just the people on your list with adverts, which we did. And you can do that on Google. So we would then follow people around the internet with, again, just showing them our limited edition unique experience. And you can run very, very inexpensive ads on Google doing it that way when you know who they are. Very inexpensive. I mean, that's getting a little bit more complicated. That was kind of like we could afford to play around with some of the finer intricacies by that point. But yeah, sending the email was a real big win for us. And again, it's something anyone can do. It's pretty much free. It's overlooked by most people. A lot of people are like, oh, email, that's, that doesn't work. It does. Because again, so many people are just focused on the social media, and it means that by showing up in people's inbox, it's a less competitive space, than their newsfeed.
I agree, and I think like that's one thing I was actually like kind of recommending to all users. So there's emails, obviously, like that you've done, but I think nowadays like everyone's on WhatsApp. Like we all have
Yeah,
WhatsApp. That's a free tool. Like you can
yeah,
create a broadcast channel with your
yeah,
customers on WhatsApp for free,
yeah.
and that you're like straight into that. Everybody reads every WhatsApp messages, and it's actually very uncompetitive, like you were saying. And the only thing you need to do is either to join your community, again, free tool to use, or you get them to add your phone number. Again, something that is, we're not asking you to change your whole life. Just add my number in there and you'll get my secret updates, my secret messages, and boom,
Yeah.
free tool to communicate right into your phone.
100%. And also, even just by saying, and you actually, you tap there on one of my favorite marketing words, which is secret. Because
Mm-hmm.
everyone loves secret. Everyone wants to see
Yes.
behind the curtain. Everyone wants to be a part of something special.
Mm-hmm.
So people would register for that. And also, SMS probably falls into that same category as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't read an SMS message?
Mm-hmm.
Literally, you're gonna be 100% read rate pretty much.
Exactly.
And again,
Exactly.
people just don't do it, and and they'll be like, oh, but it costs 4p or something, and it's like, if you know your numbers, then it doesn't matter that it costs 4p because that's
Yes.
it's the price of your services already, as part of what
Exactly.
you're spending on your marketing. So again, kind of a lot of these little things that we've spoken about, when you then do all of them, then you become unstoppable, in my opinion.
I love this. I mean, I love this episode. This is all about
Those
like the
good
secret
tips.
sauce. The sauce. I love the sauce, you know? That's what we live for.
Yeah. But I think also one of the things, one of the reasons why I like to talk about it, Jem, is because I think a lot of people are scared of marketing, and they think that it's either really expensive or really difficult, or they have to pay someone, thousands of pounds every month to do it for them. And
Yeah.
it's like, you really don't. There's some real simple stuff that you can do that will make a massive difference
Hmm.
and will make you stand out from the rest, because the bar is really low. The bar is so low that
Hmm.
it's really not that difficult to make your business stand out if you're prepared to do a few of the things that other people aren't prepared to do. And
So
a lot
true.
of that is all the things we've spoken about. Because most people, they think it is Instagram or TikTok, and that's it. And that's all they're going to do. And that would actually be the last thing that I did. I'll tell you what else, another good one, you Google My Business. It's
Oh my God!
it's
Yes, yes.
free. It's free, people. If you get people to review you, update it regularly so
Mhm.
you show up on the little local map. People are still using billions of searches every hour, on Google. People searching for what you do, and so many people that not even listed on there.
Mhm.
So again, that is a massive win, which just, yeah, it's free. It's
That's
insane.
what everybody does. The first thing you do when you look for a salon is you go on Google Maps and you like salon near me. That's what you do. And
Exactly.
if you don't do that, maybe you're like a bit more advanced and you go to GPT and you search what is a good salon. Like GPT uses exactly what's on Google to find you the results. So same,
Right.
same.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I think that I was reading an article recently, and it was saying that for the first time, I think some Gen Zers are using social media as a search engine more,
Yes.
but that's it. And still, the overall numbers are wildly skewed in Google's favor. But even then, that comes down to knowing your customer. you know,
Hmm.
which is something we've not even really even touched on. But, you know, again, it's you need to know who it is you're trying to go after. If you're trying to get Gen Zers, then, you know, disregard a lot of what I've said and make sure you're all over TikTok, you know, and pay to be showing up first, you know. But assuming, as I say, certainly our target demographic wasn't that. So, you know, you just got to put yourself in front of where your dream target client is hanging out, you know, be it online or offline. And again, if you can show up in more than one place, that is really then when you're starting to get things right. And as I say, we really wanted to try and be everywhere, because then you get that idea that people think they know you before they even know you, before they've even stepped foot in you. They feel like they already know you, you know, which is a really strong position to be in.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. I think like you're completely right. And at the same time, like you have to think about it like as a Venn diagram. It's like, what are your customers, but also what are your strengths? Like what tools are you good at? If you're a Gen Zer and you're like good at TikTok and that's your jam, like do it. Like that you get your customers, you get your people that come to you, that'll be perfect. That's perfect fit. But if you're not, like you don't have to force yourself to do this. Just go through the things that you know how to do, and there will be a channel for you. That's like the beauty of modern marketing, is there is a channel for everyone that's going to reach the right target audience. So you have to be aware of it and use it.
100%. And there are, you know, there's literally hundreds, you know, literally
Hmm.
hundreds of
Hmm.
ways that you can get in front of people that will play to your skill set. You know, it might be that you hate video but you're good with the written word, for example.
Hmm.
Great, use that to your strengths. It might be that you're really nervous in front of a camera, like lots of people are, but actually you're really good in person. Great, find some events that you can go and speak at. Go and sponsor, you know, some local event where there's local people who are going to be there. You know, you don't need to have 1,000 people there for it to have been a worthwhile
Hmm.
experience for you. Here's a true story for you. So one of our clients, they had realised that they, from speaking with a lot of their clients, they realised lots of them played golf, okay, randomly, right? So she took it upon herself to learn how to play golf and then subsequently join the local women's golf club, right? Now she's in with all of these ladies at the golf club who have not only a nice expendable income, but also the time as well. And as a result, she's now gets recommended by all of these ladies, of which they are all her dream target client. And typically, most people hang out with people like them. So if you can get in with one group of people and then get introduced to their friends, they're going to be more of the same typically, you know? So you don't have to learn how to play golf. Don't miss the point of the story. But the point is, she was smart enough to realize a sort of common thread that was running through a lot of her really, really good clients. And it was like, right, where can I put myself that's going to put me in front of more people like them? And again, it might be the local health club, it might be the local gym, you know, it might be going along to classes. And, you know, I mean, you can't go and hand out flyers, but you can go and wear a branded t-shirt to your gym class if you want. And if you've got something interesting written on the back of it with a QR code, people are going to talk to you, you know, or Zach, without you even know it. You know, there's a million things that you can do if you're prepared to do things that are a bit out of the ordinary, you know.
Totally. I love that. All so many really good tips that I feel like don't even cost a lot that you've shared that have been incredible. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are more of these tips in your book?
Yeah, so a lovely segue, Sam. Thank you. Yes, so, I've written a couple of books. Yeah, my current one is called The Successful Salon Marketing System, and basically that really runs through a lot of what we spoke about the first half of our chat today. So it really tells the story of how we came about our marketing system or machine almost within our business, and then it also lays out how people can put it into place in their business. If you go to salonmarketingbook.com, and you can get a copy for £1
Oh
plus
wow.
postage and packaging. So that is still available now because it's not on Amazon yet. My first one is on Amazon, but the second one, the new one, hasn't made it there yet. So you can grab it before Amazon take their dirty big slice of the pie. And again, it's literally a step-by-step guide which explains how to put into place everything that we spoke about today, and quite a few other extra bits as well. And again, really, I wanted just to try and give people a guide to follow so that you can put it into place, because as you correctly said yourself there, Sam, it's like a lot of these things, they don't need to cost very much money to do it. You know, you don't have to spend thousands on ad spend every month unless you want to, you know. And even if you do want to, that wouldn't be where I would start. You know, I would nail down the cheaper bits to do first, and then when you've got a bit of money sloshing around in the business, well, then at that point you might then look to, you know, to do some paid advertising. That's be how I would approach it.
Okay, no, that sounds good. And I guess this is what what our audience could learn if they join your Gold Club coaching program.
Yes. So basically, for the last for the last 11 or 12 years, Holly and I have been helping other salon owners to grow their business. So we realised that what we were doing in our day spa and salon was not the same as what everyone else was doing, and therefore we thought there would be some value to helping others do the same. So for the last decade we've been helping others do that, and our Gold Club is a group coaching program. So it's a combination of online courses and guides, but also live coaching calls every month as well. And unlike one-to-one sort of coaching, as it were, it's in a group environment, so it means it's way less expensive and affordable for anyone who's serious about growing their business. We've got about 350 salon owner members in there, something like that. So there's a real vibrant community of people who are really looking to help one another out as well, because it's damn lonely being a business owner sometimes, and actually being around others who get it is actually really valuable as well. So if anyone wants to check that out, if you go to salonologygoldclub.com, then you can have a look on that, and there's a 30-day test drive option as well.
Fantastic. So there's the salonologygoldclub.com, there's the salonmarketingbook.com.
Yes.
Is there anywhere else that we can find you?
They are the best places to go. I mean, you can follow me on social media if you like. And again, it's just Salonology, which is salon and then OLOGY. Or you can look me up. My handle is ITS Ryan Power. I think all my profiles are open and public, so follow me. And if you've got, I love to try and just help people and chat with other salon owners, because I feel like we've just got such a passionate industry of really, really skilled people, and it just breaks my heart when I see so many of them, you know, really just trying to do everything they can, but not quite getting where they want to be. So that's really what we want to try and help people with. You know, we're about, you know, to hell with the 18-hour work days. You know, let's work a bit smarter, doing the right things, so that you can actually enjoy a bit more balance in your life as well, because you know, there is more to life than just working, unbelievably, you know.
Yes, there is. Even though we love our work, it's always nice to also have some time outside of it.
Well, and do you know what? And I think that's part of the problem. And I think some clients are quick to take advantage of that. And I think that there's a real boundaries issue in our industry as well. So trying to get some of that in place so that people can enjoy that balance, if that doesn't seem like too far-fetched an idea.
100%. That's amazing. I mean, look, we're all about boundaries. We are a booking system, so we're literally your gatekeeper to your diary. So we really believe in that. I mean, Ryan, thank you so much for today. I really love this chat. This is what it's all about. It's about the sauce, the secret sauce, how you make it happen. So make sure you go and check out Ryan. It's Ryan Power on Instagram, Salonology, @Salonology, or you can go online, salonologygoldclub.com or salonmarketingbook.com to get the sauce in writing.
Amazing. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you both for having me. Appreciate it.